Whatever.
You're going to have to tread carefully. Who knows? With the Leowin boy marrying that common strumpet, the real nobility in this land could be squeezed out completely. I don't trust any of them. Least of all, Morag's Cepheus.
We shall have to wait and see, my dear. After all, now the Count of Anvil's daughter has agreed to marry our son, Leowin's influence will diminish and ours will grow. Also, with Anvil's family ties to Skingrad, the West will become much more secure. Quintus's army sits on the border of Hammerfell as we speak and comes under Anvil's jurisdiction.
What of Cheydinhal and all this?
The Count of Cheydinhal doesn't like what's happening one little bit. He cannot imagine why Bruma would relent and sign the decree unless there's something more sinister going on. It's managed to sign. Bruma was perfectly within its right to remain a free city under Imperial law.
Why would the Countess change her mind now? All she had to do is buff Cepheus off. I would have sent Blackwell packing with an arrow up his arse, and reached out to us in Cheydinhal.
She could have reached out to all the provinces. Cepheus would not have dared touch her. It makes you wonder of the reasons the Leowin boy took such an interest in her. To think we almost had it in the bag.
Well, my boy. I would never have thought you would have made such a proposal in front of everyone.
Father, when are you going to come to terms with the fact that I love Rigmor? Why is it such an issue?
I had hoped you would marry into nobility, and I don't want to disrespect your Rigmor. She's a great girl. But she's hard work, Bobby. You even said it yourself. She has constant mood swings. She's argumentative. She has baggage, boy, and would be an embarrassment. Look, she's not even a native of Cyrodiil.
That's where you're wrong, and I won't hear of it. She was born in Cyrodiil to respected parents.
You're just a young fool blinded by love. She's a Nordling, a barbarian. Just because a dog is born in a stable, it doesn't make it a horse. And your Rigmor is no thoroughbred. By marrying into imperial nobility, that would make something of you one day, my boy. It would command respect and give you an army to conquer new regions, territories, even provinces. Instead of counting icicles on that mountain with her guardian breathing down your neck, the county is worthless and full of Nords. Love doesn't create empires, boy. Those are made by blood and guts on your sword. Even though your intentions are sincere with this Rigmor, and marrying this girl might indeed help our cause to strengthen our position here in the province, slightly, you still have a lot to learn.
Lady Rigmor is going to be my wife, and I will hear no more of it.
Ah, Blackwell. Enter.
My lord, you summoned me.
You had better have something good for me, Blackwell. Who is she and what is she doing here? More to the point, how did she manage to surface out of thin air and become such a problem?
Is my lady present? I'm sure she would like to hear.
She will be back shortly. She needed to visit her father. Please continue.
Little is known from the time she met the Countess. Apart from the New Order incursion into Skyrim, very little is noted or recorded in manuscript. A breakaway sect native to Alinor that tried to overthrow the Isle and invade Cyrodiil.
What did the New Order want with her?
She disappeared for years until she resurfaced at the Battle of Whiterun. She was linked to a Khajiit emissary who frequented the Imperial Court and had the ear of the Council of Elders. It was all kept very quiet, a matter for the Council and heads of state, I was not privy to these proceedings, and instead I was asked to take care of the affairs of the province, a job I continued to do after the disappearance of the Emperor until...
Please go on, Lord Chancellor.
After the New Order were crushed, the Thalmor made good their time in Cyrodiil, erasing all evidence. After the events, Titus Mede II bestowed upon the girl the noble title of Bruma County. As for her and her guardian, the two parted ways, and shortly after the Emperor disappeared. That's all we know. After the Thalmor were expelled when the nobility signed the recent White Gold Agreement, my attempts to recover any information led nowhere. The trail went cold.
I don't like it, Blackwell. She was only meant to sign the document. Do you think she's complicit in a possible plot with Leowyn?
The balance of power here in Cyrodiil is constantly changing. At first it was prudent to have friends loyal to you, such as Leowyn, to hold the upper hand among the counties. Your position relies on fealty, and although there is no evidence of subterfuge, there is a rivalry between them, and it has now become so very obvious. The announcement of the marriage between Bruma and Leowyn has only added to the suspicions of their rivals.
I can understand that. But the Countess of Bruma? Why would an emperor bestow such a noble title on a wretched Nord girl? Why would he do that? What is so special about her?
I'll tell you why she is so special. So special to have at her side the most dangerous killer in all of Tamriel. Of course, it is now all so obvious. It all fits in. The ripples in the fabric of the void. How she hid her truths. She has been hiding it for years, afraid for her very life. Cursed by her blood from the day she was born. A product of a liaison that produced a royal bastard. Her veins coursing with the royal blood of the dynasty we usurped. And her guardian, a half-beast dragon slayer, champion of Boethia and defeater of Alduin. She is a pretender by default. And I want her. And I want them both, Lord Chancellor.
We would need evidence before we could touch her. A confession, or someone to testify.
I'll make the girl confess, even if I have to do it myself. And as for her guardian... Aren't you meant to be protecting your beloved Rigmor, Dragonborn?
Halt! I implore you to hold your weapons, or the Lady Rigmore will be summarily executed. The Countess of Bruma is charged with treason, and will stand trial at the nearest opportunity. She will be taken to the Imperial City Prison to await the arrival of her attorney. No harm will befall her. As long as you comply with the law, you are to remain here under house arrest for the time being until further notice.
It's okay, Dragonborn. I'm kinda glad it ends this way. I feel kinda relieved, in a way. Have Malisam take care of my things for me. And whatever happens at the trial, don't screw it up, okay? I might not get another chance to speak to you in person again, even during the trial. And I know we talked about all this before, but if I don't make it, please, don't blame yourself. I just want you to know that you're the best thing that ever happened in my life, and that I love you with all my heart. Goodbye, Dragonborn.
You made a very serious misjudgment coming here. I know it's no consolation, but no one knew about her ties to the Meade dynasty. It was a complete surprise. Suffice to say, she kept her secret well. Please, sit. Actually, I came to ask the same thing. Why would the Countess come down from the mountain and pledge her support? She was protected under international law. However much the Emperor demanded it, she was well within her rights to ignore his demands. Unless... yes. She thought we knew, didn't she? Of course. And I bet you prepared for this very situation in advance. But pray tell me, what of the Leowin boy? Where does he fit into all of this? Was she involved in a plot? I believe you. I must admit, though you had me fooled, I thought this was all about the struggle for power between the noble houses, and the joining of the houses of Bruma and Leowin was part of the plan. But it wasn't, was it? Sir Robert's proposal, for whatever reason, was seen as a way out. The Countess was prepared to make that sacrifice to live in peace. I can understand why she made that decision. With what she knew about herself, she must have felt very scared, even desperate. The trial will take place tomorrow. I've already sent word to her court advisor. He will arrive in the morning. They will need evidence to find a verdict, or they will have to let her go. She will be interrogated and offered a chance to confess in return for her freedom. But she will have to give up her titles and leave the province. I do hope she has some resolve, as confessing won't help her, not now. Whether she be acquitted, banished, or exiled, they will hunt her down. And they will be relentless. I have my reasons for telling you this. You see, I'm rather fond of the Countess. But my loyalty is to the seat of the Imperial throne, not who occupies it. You must know that I will pursue the bidding of the Emperor, no matter who, no matter my personal opinion or thoughts to the letter of the law, and execute any orders I see fit to protect and serve with absolute, unwavering ruthlessness. It isn't personal, but it's vitally important we understand each other. Good. I'm glad you understand, because if you listened carefully, if you paid attention, what then, Dragonborn? I'm also here to escort you to the Imperial Chamber. The Theseus requires an audience. You will be able to talk freely to her, with impunity. Please, come this way. Ahem. Guardian and protector to the Countess of Bruma, my lady.
Leave us. Come forward, Guardian. Or should I say, Dragonborn. I summoned you here because I wanted to see you up close, in the flesh, to look upon your face. Please do not tell me you are just like the rest of them, play acting the good, high and mighty champion of the poor downtrodden. Good does not always mean right, but you of all people should know that, if you call yourself a person. What are you, a half-breed or half-beast? You're a product of your environment, nothing more, nothing less. You are what you are, a cold, instinctive killer. It would take more notice of a pain in your little finger than the destruction of a whole entire nation. We are one and the same, you and I. Don't make me laugh. You are the epitome of hypocrisy. How many dragons have you slain to become what you are now? How many of their souls have you violated and sucked into your essence to attain your power? Far more than I. A soul is a soul, Dragon Slayer. It matters not from whom you take it, but the very act itself. How many men, women, and children have you slaughtered without a blink of an eye? Or a remorseful back glance at some poor wretch you left lying in the snow in a pool of their own blood? Yet you are already judge, jury, and executioner because of some entitled moral high ground. You killed my children, Dragon Slayer. My brood. Did they not have a right to live, to grow, and to multiply? Yet you took it upon yourself to execute them all, not content having saved your ward. And with true righteous bigotry, you delivered the sentence of death where you had no legal right, leaving them lying in their own bloody fucking mess! I like you. It's such a pity we're on opposite sides. I would make you my emperor and discard that weak fool. He has already outlived his purpose, if you can call it that. Is the Black Widow wrong to devour its mate the instant it's copulated? It is within the nature of the beast. The endless cycle of life and death, play to a backdrop of a world that could care less. Surrounded by a cold, harsh void that is eternally trying to strangle and crush the very life of a world it considers an intruder. A blemish to be expunged from its cold, eternal darkness. I piss on treason. I could crush Blackwell's skull like a chicken's egg. Do you know who I am? Come now. I know all there is to know about you. It would only be fair to extend the same courtesy. Anything spoken between us will remain exactly that. Blackwell has no jurisdiction here. Let's be civilized. If entities like us can indeed be considered that, there's so much I would like to talk about. Before I married the Emperor, I was called Morak Bal. I am a daughter of Cold Harbor, but you know that. That's boring. You want to know why I am here in this ancient seat of lost elven kings? I'm afraid there's no real reason. No divine subterfuge, and certainly no sacrifice to be made so a spurned monster can fulfill its dream to become a living god king. No, none of that. Sorry to disappoint. No, I exist only to play the game, to divide and conquer, to sow the seeds of discord. Cepheus is just one of many in a long line of pathetic hosts that has led me to this palace. Very good. Oh, how we would make such a perfect couple, you and I. Just imagine for one moment, Dragonborn, a daughter of Cold Harbor, Empress of all of Tamriel, no, all of Nirn, with the champion of Boethia by her side. We would fulfill the Elysian prophecy, and I would be the queen of a golden age, and you would be my king. Father would be very proud of me, and I would even give you the daughter of Azura to do with her as you will. I would even make her a duchess to preside over all the counties of Cyrodiil if you wish it. Keep her, let her go, marry her off to Bobby. Or we could adopt her and she could be our princess. We would never age, we would never tire, and preside over Nirn for a millennia. I understand. I really do. Rigmore is your only concern at this moment. And I must commend both you and her betrothed who unwittingly placed her in a prison cell. With your ham-fisted attempt at courtly subterfuge, it was most laughable. Not forgetting the excellent job you did of guarding and protecting her from exposing her secret, because I would never have guessed otherwise. But of course, Daddy did help me out a little bit, and is such a wealth of information at times like this. But I don't want to keep you from... Well, actually, I'm not keeping you from anything, am I? But you must be tired and could use some sleep if you want to be fresh for the trial tomorrow. I am sure you must be looking forward to that, because I am so excited. Which reminds me, I promised Rigmore I would pop in for a friendly chat. I hope you don't mind. After all, she is the reason we are standing here at all. Come again? Reason for what? Guards! Guards! Escort the Guardian back to her room. The only way out is to play the game, Dragon Slayer. Get it right, and you both go home.
Guardian General.
We are sorry, ma'am, but you must return to your room. This way, ma'am.
Anus, and this is Crispus. We were with you in Whiterun, Quintus Legion. Got sent home as I got myself wounded, General. Heavy fighting on the border. I took an arrow.
Took an arrow in his arse, more like.
Sod off, Crispus. You're just jealous of my medal.
Stick it a year, and they give you a bloody medal.
Crispus is a bit salty. We got Lambert in punishment detail.
We're meant to be on temporary leave from Hammerfell for rest and refit. But Amos got us sent here for drunkenness.
We went down the market district after drinking some of that old special brew Tessio keeps under the table. Ended up in a fight with some, civilians.
Luckily, we only got given menial tasks, due to their bolstering the guard in the prison district.
They're shitting their pants. Someone's got them rattled.
Don't worry, man. Amos and I consider ourselves veterans.
Yeah, we're the real Legion, not this junked up new lot.
Here we are, ma'am. We bid you farewell.
Was an honour, General.
What about that? The Guardian bleeding General.
Yeah, I wonder what she's doing here.
Dunno.
Remember the giant camp?
What giant camp?
Some of the boys came across a giant camp. You must have been taking a shit behind the bush.
Sod off, Crispus.
Fancy another beer?
They won't win. I have broken through these chains laid upon me. I will make them see that they cannot break me. I will not let you control my life anymore. These scars are my pride that you made me bore. Through your hate, I found my fate. Cast 1,000 sins as you harm my skin. I will not break for you, and you will get your due. For I am no longer alone. I feel it to my very bone. My guardian is the only one who can make or break me. This is not the last you will see of me. No longer will I hide. I have the dragon by my side. Talos guide my strength to seek my retribution. I will be the one to deliver your execution.
How is our noble guardian this fine morning? Sefri volunteered to go. I'm far too old and decrepit. Perhaps Rigmor needs me. Sefri also asked me to pass on Azura's blessings. I'm here to defend Rigmor. The trial will begin soon. However, the Lord Chancellor has requested we meet in the Temple Gardens. Good if you're discussing state affairs and freedom of information, in this case, preparation for the trial. Bad if the information you tell him is detrimental to the Emperor's continued reign. So, watch what you say.
Well met. They won't let us see her, not until after the trial.
Come, let's get the ball rolling, shall we? Well met, Lord Chancellor.
Court Advisor Malasam. Guardian, please let us walk. As you probably know, or don't know, the Emperor's coronation has been postponed to make way for the trial. It will begin shortly, where charges will be read out and the prosecution will make its case. Sitting on the jury will be the 6 houses of Cyrodiil. A prerequisite is the defendant is of noble status. All the parties have been advised, but one thing you can be assured of. It will be fair. It's the law. I will be presiding over the proceedings and will advise the Emperor, who has the last say. Court Advisor Malasam will plead the case for the defense. Morag Cetheus will be prosecuting on behalf of the Emperor. I know what you're thinking, Dragonborn. I advise you to refrain from saying it.
The Count will hear statements from the prosecution and defense. Then the defendant, Rigmor, will be questioned. The court will deliberate, then finally Rigmore will have a chance to make a statement. She might want to have her say, or make confessions, or say nothing at all.
She's not too good. I am afraid I am not at liberty to discuss.
Poppycock, Blackwell, and you know it. We need to prepare her for the worst.
She was interrogated by the prosecutor. It's standard procedure. We do not allow torture. They took her into a cell, and she was made to sit. Then her hair was shorn, and she began to cry. It's standard procedure to humiliate the accused, to break down any self-respect, or any scrap of dignity they might have left. It's nothing personal. You must try to compose yourself.
Guardian, Rigmore is a tough girl. Be thankful it's illegal to use traditional interrogation methods. It really doesn't bear thinking about, trust me.
No, something strange happened. The prosecutor stood behind her and tore her dress asunder, exposing her back, and just stood there, staring at the scars for what seemed an eternity. And all that could be heard was the soft, gentle sobbing. And then she just left. She stormed out as quickly as she had arrived. I tried to console the Countess and had her placed in a comfortable, secure room. And she was given prison attire to protect her modesty.
Guardian, she needs you to be strong. If she is found guilty and exiled, we will worry about that when the time comes. When the trial starts, you must keep control of yourself, especially when Rigmore enters the room. To not do so will end in dire consequences.
The Countess will be flanked by 4 guards. Any attempt to subvert the proceedings with violence will result in her death, with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Just to let you know, there are 6 jury members. The charge is for treason. If their verdict is 4 against, she will be acquitted. If they fail to reach a verdict, she will be acquitted. If it's hung, I get the final say on the evidence provided. With no evidence or credible testimonies, I will advise the Emperor to acquit the Countess. But know this, if there is evidence, I will pursue a guilty verdict.
Thank you, Lord Chancellor. You have been most helpful.
Dragonborn? Yoo-hoo!
What's this?
His name's Balin. He lives with his mother by the lake. Please excuse me. I must prepare for the task at hand.
I am so blessed by the gods to once again be in the presence of the mighty Dragonborn. Are these your friends? I'm so excited. Ooh, I think I might faint. Oh.
Hey, watch it!
I say, my good man, it's good to meet you, but we have important business to discuss.
I have followed the Dragonborn's adventures for as long as I can remember, and have the most extensive collection of news clippings in Cyrodiil. Who are you? You're pretty. Oh, my cheeks are glowing.
Get away from me, you freak!
I see. You must be such an adoring fan to follow the mighty Dragonborn.
Where's the Countess Rigmore? Do you know her too, Mr. Kind Old Man? She's related to the Emperor Titus Mede I. Isn't that wonderful? Can I help you? I'm sorry. Goodbye. Oh.
We don't know that. He might not have heard.
Pretty much everyone would have heard that.
Thank you, Keris. Guardian. We still have everything to play for. I think it will help her. It's time for Rigmore to come home. To stop running around. No more looking over her shoulder, and I intend to put this whole thing behind her. For good or ill, whether she's found guilty or acquitted, it's time to put this whole thing to bed once and for all. There's an island located in the Sea of Ghosts. There used to be an abandoned fort on northern tip. Cepheus turned it into a prison. All exiles are sent there. Noble hostages, political activists, religious extremists, Daedric devotees. If Rigmor is exiled, I'll need to return to Bruma immediately. Keris will accompany Rigmor in exile as her lady-in-waiting. Make your way to Dawnstar. There's a trade route with a small fishing village on the south of the island. Any of the fishing boats will know the area and take you straight to the prison jetty for the right price. Get in, find the girls, and get out. It's time. Shall we proceed?
Silence! Court is now in session. The Empire versus the Countess of Bruma. The accusation is of treason on 2 counts. To assess her royal bloodline as a pretender by default, to usurp the imperial throne by subterfuge. I call the prosecution to make their case. Proceed.
The Countess of Bruma is not who she claims to be. She has been harboring a secret. We are here today to fully expose the trail of lies and deceit she has woven, and to prove beyond a doubt her reasons for signing the noble decree did indeed have ulterior motives. That she intended to infiltrate the houses of Cyrodiil to cause dissent, to intrigue and subvert so as to place herself in a position of power to make her claim to the Mede dynasty. A dynasty that has been legally passed on to our great Emperor Ariel Sethius by right of combat. I put it to the jury, the Countess Rigmor of Bruma is a pretender to the imperial throne, thereby committing treason. And that you should find her guilty, so that she spend the rest of her days banished in exile, and the House of Bruma be dissolved.
I call the defense to make their case. Proceed.
The Countess of Bruma is innocent of the charges brought against her, and I put this to the jury, that they think very carefully of the implications a guilty charge would bring. I put it to the jury that they will find before them not a subversive, power-hungry pretender to the imperial throne, but quite the opposite. They will see but a young, vulnerable girl caught up in events not of her choosing that have led her to this day. And they will witness the truth about Rigmor of Bruma, her name, which in itself sounds as if it could be a tragic comedy you would see at a local amphitheater. But there is no comedy in this play. We are here to see today only tragedy, and I implore you to find the accused not guilty and be acquitted, so she can simply return home where she belongs.
Bring in the accused. Silence! 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 Rigmor, Countess of Bruma, you have been brought here today to hear the charges against you. You are accused of treason. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
The prosecutor may proceed.
Permission to interject, Lord Chancellor?
Go on.
As you can clearly see, the Countess of Bruma, who I shall refer to as Rigmore, is in poor health and is clearly disoriented. Before the prosecutor questions her, I would like to speak to Rigmore directly, only for a moment, as to clarify her position, so that she knows just what actually is going on around her.
Prosecutor?
No objection.
Now, Rigmore, don't be afraid, as today you will be free. No more running away, no more hiding. So I want you to listen carefully. Whatever questions the prosecutor asks, you must tell the truth. You must not hold back. You have nothing to hide or be ashamed of. Tell it as it is. Do you understand?
Yes.
There's a good girl. Thank you, Lord Chancellor. Prosecutor. No need to accuse, interrogate, or intimidate. Ask her what you want to know, and she will comply.
The prosecutor may proceed.
Countess! Countess! Rigmor? Are you a direct descendant of Emperor Titus Mede I?
Yes.
How did you acquire the title and deeds to the County of Bruma?
Emperor Titus Mede II bestowed them upon me.
Did you plot to usurp the imperial throne by subterfuge?
No.
Do you admit that by your lineage you are a pretender to the imperial throne by default?
Yes.
Silence!
I rest my case.
Silence!
The accused is guilty.
Silence! Court Advisor Malasam, you realize that the Countess has, by her admission, brought these proceedings to an abrupt close.
I do, and thanks the gods, but I still have the right to advocate clemency.
Objection!
Objection denied. Continue, Court Advisor Malasam.
Gentlemen of the jury, Lord Chancellor, what you see before you is no usurper, no threat to the imperial throne. Until recently, she was considered a commoner, not even of noble blood. She didn't come to sign the noble decree to cause dissent. She came to sign the decree because she was scared. Her ancestry was a curse, something to be hidden. Why, you might ask? Because it would eventually lead to a day like this. Her ancestry should have been cause for celebration. Ties to a dynasty was something Titus Mede II held dear. He himself bestowed the titles and deeds of the County of Bruma upon her house, and it should therefore be noted in your deliberations. So I ask for clemency, and that she has been able to keep the titles legally awarded her by her former emperor. And I ask you to be merciful and that she be cared for as befitting a royal princess. Lord Chancellor.
Not guilty on the first count, guilty on the second count. Clemency approved.
Not guilty on the first count. Guilty on the second count. Clemency approved.
Silence. The court has come to a verdict. Countess Rigmor of Bruma is found not guilty of the charge to usurp the imperial throne by subterfuge. Countess Rigmor of Bruma is found guilty of the charge to assert her royal bloodline as a pretender by default, and is sentenced to be exiled to the island of Roskria for 25 years. Silence! 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 As is the unanimous wish of the houses of Cyrodiil, the Countess will retain her noble titles and deeds. The County of Bruma will be administered by her family in her absence, and it is of the express wish of the houses of Cyrodiil that she be cared for as befitting a royal princess. Take her down.
It's the minimum sentence. I knew it was coming. I needed to secure the county for Sigun.
Guardian! Guardian, you must do something! Guardian! Guardian, we must do something! No! No! I won't hear of it. I can't lose her now. I love her. I'll join her on the island. I'll have Father talk to the Emperor. I am not giving up on her. You might want to give up, abandon her, but I will not.
Sir Robert, there's nothing any of us can do.
Rigmor said she will marry me, and she is still the Countess. How can you all just give up? Call yourself a guardian.
Poor boy. Let's hope he doesn't cause trouble for us, shall we? Carice, it's time for you to go. Tell the guards you are Rigmor's lady-in-waiting. They should let you pass through immediately. Then present yourself at the prison. The nobles backed us, Guardian. It will be much harder for them to try anything and give you a better chance to get her out of there. Rigmor will have a personal guard and be kept as comfortable as possible. Carice will be with her. I shall go back to Bruma and console Sigun. Prepare for a siege, dear girl, and reach out to the nobles, in particular Leowin. They won't be expecting that. They won't be happy about this trial, especially Sir Robert, if at all his motivations are genuine. Hopefully Sefri will have something to go on, and of course, ask my mistress for guidance. You know what to do. By the time you get there, the girl should already be at the prison. Do whatever you have to. We are on borrowed time.
Fire! Fire! The prison is on fire!
By the gods! Guardian, come on!
She's still in there! Dragonborn! Get her out of there!
Carice, calm down! Where is she? Where did they take her?
They took her to the holding cells on the lower floor. Hurry!
This way, Guardian! Rigmor, hold on! Guardian is here! We're coming! I can't go on. Save her, Guardian. Please. I'm sorry, Guardian. I truly am. But it's nothing personal. I hope you can appreciate that. You gotta look out for number one, right? I only wanted Bruma County, nothing more. Rigmore means nothing to me. She never has. Used to get right up my nose. She would just never shut up. The amount of shit I had to listen to. She would just go on and on and on. Did she ever do that with you? Yes, of course. I'm sure she did. And I'll bet you felt the same as me. Yes, she would ramble on, and I would smile and feign interest. And all I really wanted to do was just punch her in that fucking mouth. She always was a whiny little cunt. I'm sure you'll agree.
Thank you, Bobby. Now go. Tell them the Countess is alive and well, and luckily she had already left for Roskria. We will arrange the wedding as soon as possible. Once you become Count of Bruma, we'll arrange something nice for her. And then you can get yourself a proper wife. I must give Bobby a nice, slow, meaningful death for talking about Rigmore like that. He's such utter scum. Dragonborn? 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 Not the brightest candle in the stack either, are we? Again, you have proven yourself to be way out of your depth. I expected so much more from you. All those big words. What was it you called me again? Don't you find it also paradoxical that you, Tamriel's most powerful killing machine, is reduced to a shameful, obsolete wretch? Twice now you have placed Rigmor in mortal danger, and what's really tragic is right now, when she does need you, you're not there for her. It truly is heartbreaking, because she really is a great girl, and she's been through so much. After our last little meeting, I was so angry with myself. Oh, believe me, I wanted to hurt her because of you. I was thinking of you in that filthy cell as I hacked away at her beautiful hair. Then she began to cry. I wasn't expecting that. Then when I stood behind her and ripped her dress almost completely in two, she tried to dignify her modesty by crossing her arms. And then I saw it. From that moment, we became sisters. No, lovers. She moved me. I felt every single lash she felt, and I wanted to cry with her. I wanted to hold her close, tightly in my arms and tell her everything will be okay. Don't cry. Shh. No one is ever going to hurt you again. Shh. For I am now your guardian and protector, and no man shall ever place his hands on you. From this moment, you are eternally mine. Sadly, this is where we say goodbye. Don't worry about Rigmor. She's in safe hands now. Oh, here. I thought you might appreciate a small gift. It's a lock of Rigmor's hair. Well, actually, it was a lock of her hair. Still, no need to thank me. By the way, these labyrinths under the city are ancient, but this one has a particular something special. One of a kind, literally. I do hope you brought a torch with you. You'll need it. But here, take mine just in case. When you do come face to face with death, I would hate for you not to be able to see it coming. Goodbye, Dragonborn.
Dova King, come forth into the light. Al-Esh has smiled on me this day. She promised me you would come. I am Lord Morbalhaza. Because of the prophecy of Al-Esh, she is waiting. Al-Esh is my celestial mother. She is waiting for me to return to the stars. I am the last of my kind. Once we were many and thrived all over Tamriel. Al-Esh looked down and she was pleased. We lived here in peace and flourished. Many amongst the jewel-encrusted cities of ancient Cyrodiil. Our wings carrying us up high into far-off lands. We were the children of Al-Esh, and like winged horn gods, we played amongst the stars, and took our place amongst the many people. But the hearts of men became dark, and they came to fear us. We were shunned, reduced to the status of beasts and monsters, and we retreated into the dark caves and forests of the land. For thousands of years, we watched their empires rise and fall, the elven kingdoms come and go, mighty dwarven citadels crumble and ruin. But we were the blight of Min and Mer. We became trophies and sport for the arena, and we were hunted down relentlessly without mercy until we were on the verge of extinction. I, Lord Morbalhaza, gathered the last of us, and we rose up to defend our very existence. But they were too many. All but a few, including the little ones, perished, and they captured and enslaved us. They tore off our wings and imprisoned us in these ancient labyrinths. Our anguished cries sounding the passing of our kind rose up into the heavens. Al-Esh heard our cries and was angry, and she cursed the land. All that sought to reign over it would never find peace until her children were free. Tamriel would plunge into ruin, decadence, and perpetual war, everlasting. Akantosh pleaded that she release the curse, while Morlagbal laughed. Now, I am the last. Al-Esh is calling, and I have been waiting for the coming of a half-beast, one of my kind, to free Lord Morbalhaza and release the curse. And it will signal the beginning of a new golden age, and the arrival of a chosen queen of Tamriel. Release me from this living hell so that I can return to my celestial realm, to Al-Esh and my people. Free my soul so that I can return to my loved ones and soar amongst the stars, complete and whole again. Strike quickly, my sister, then take my heart and place it in the fire, and you will be free to leave this place. Hurry, Al-Esh is waiting.